So let's talk about another title today, and that is called what? Tech questions. What is tech question? I know it's not the first time that you study tech question. What is a tech question? Anybody can tell me a tech question? Now, a tech question actually we will not make it quite long. A tech question is a short question. Okay, a tech question is a what? A short question. Short question, which is what? Which is used. What do we say? Which is used for what? For confirmation or agreement. Which is used for confirmation or what? Agreement. What do we call that? That is called a tech question. So tech question is a what question? A short question, which is used for what? Confirmation or agreement. When I say something, and I want to look for your agreement. So in that case, what do I have to say? I have to use a tech question. For example, if I say he is a teacher. Now, if I say this sentence, he is a teacher. If I want to actually look for the agreement or confirmation whether he is or he is not, what should I use? I have to use tech question. Now, he is a teacher. What should I say? Isn't he? Now, this, what do we call this? This is called a tech question. So what is tech question? Tech question is a short question, look, which comes after a statement, not a question. After, what is it comes after? A statement, which is used for confirmation or agreement. Now, if I just say he is a teacher, if I say he is a teacher, it's just a statement. I didn't look, or I don't look for any agreement or confirmation. If I say he is a teacher, isn't he? It means that I want to make sure. I want you to confirm, okay, whether he is a teacher or not. Now, in that case, it is used for agreement or confirmation. It's called the tech question. Today, we will talk about the rules and how we can change actually how we use tech questions. Now, remember, guys, it is used after a statement. Do not use it after. We got a lot tick. Huh? So he is a teacher, isn't he? Now this is a statement. But if I say, listen up, if I say, is he a teacher? Does it have any tech question? Is he a teacher? If I ask you, for example, what is the tech question for is he a teacher? You know, what do you say? Does it have any tech question? No. Is he a teacher? It doesn't have any tech question. So here, because it itself is a what? Itself is a question. Now remember, it's not a statement, it's just a question. So tech question is a short question comes after a statement that shows what? Agreement or confirmation. Now, we will talk about all the rules and how we can how can we make a tech question. Now, let's talk about the first one actually. How can what are the rules of the tech question? All the rules of the tech question, we will talk about them. Now, the first one, a positive sentence, look, positive sentences have what tag? Negative tag. Positive sentences have negative tag. What is the meaning of negative tag? Negative tag question. If there is a positive sentence, what is the tag? It has a negative tag. For example, if I have a sentence like this, he is a doctor. That's a positive sentence. He is a doctor. What is the tag question for he is a doctor? Now, let's talk about the rules of the tag question. Remember, he is a doctor. What should I say? Is he or isn't he? Isn't he? Now, what are the things which are very important tag questions? First, before tag question, we use a comma. Keep in mind, before a tag question, we use comma. After a tag question, what do we use? Question mark. And remember, in tag questions, we don't use noun. What do we use? We always use pronoun. We use pronoun. And here we also use what? Contraction. These are the rules that you have to remember. So, he is a doctor, comma, is he or isn't he? Now here, this sentence, what is this sentence? Is positive or negative? Positive. The tag should be what? Negative. So a positive sentence has a what tag? A negative. If I have another sentence, look, you are, listen up, you are a student. What is the tag question for you are a student? Huh? So what are the rules? Tell me. The first one, after Before tag questions, we use a comma. For example, you are a student. What should I say? Are you or aren't you? We say aren't you. Now, before tag question, we use comma. After tag question, what do we use? Question mark. We use pronoun, and also we use what? Yeah. If I say another one, look, if I say Zahra was, for example, a teacher. Zahra was a teacher. What is the tag for this sentence? Wasn't Zahra, is it right or not? Is it right if I say wasn't Zahra? Huh? Wasn't. So what should I say? Wasn't she. Why? As we said, we don't use noun. We always use pronoun. Now, Zahra was a teacher. What is the tag question? Wasn't she. Before tag question, we put a comma. After tag question, what do we use? Question mark. And we also use the contraction form. But do not use the capital letter here. Here, don't say the capital letter. Some of the students I saw, they just put the capital letter. They write aren't you, or they write the W, the capital. So don't use capital letter. We always use which letter? We have to use small letter. Or the next sentence, if I have you speak English. You speak English. Now, what is the tag for this sentence? You speak English. Now, if there is not any auxiliary verb, what auxiliary verb do we use? You do does that. We'll talk about them later, actually. You speak English. What should I say? Do you or don't you? So, what is the first rule? A positive sentence has a what tag? Negative tag. We will talk about all the auxiliary verbs, including to be verbs, do, does, and also have or has, one by one. But right now, remember, a positive sentence has a negative tag. What is the next rule? The next rule, number 2, negative sentences have what tag? Positive tag. I mean, negative sentences have positive tag questions. Okay, let me write here. If I say he, listen up, if I say he is not, for example, a student, what is the tag for this sentence? He is not a student. I have to say, is he or isn't he? Is he. He's not a student. What is the tag you can say? Is he. Or you are not, for example, a doctor. What is the tag here? You are not a doctor. What is the tag question? We can say, aren't you or are you? Are you? So a negative sentence has a what tag? Positive tag. Here a positive sentence has a negative tag, but here a negative sentence has a positive tag. Now the next one, he, for example, he was not, for example, singer. He was not a singer. What is the tag here? He was not a singer. The tag? So here I have to say he was not a singer. I have to say what? Was he. So again, a negative sentence has a what tag? Positive tag. A negative sentence has a positive. Or the next one, if I say she, for example, wasn't on time. What is the tag? The tag should be what? Was she. That's rule number 2. So what is rule number 2? A negative sentence has a positive tag. Now let's go to another rule. Can I clean this one? Yes. I think that they are very easy. Today, actually, tag question is very easy. It's more than easy. It's not just easy. It's more than easy. Now let's talk about some other rules with to be verbs. If we have to be verbs, the tag is what? Also a to be verb. For example, what are the to be verbs? We have is, am, are, was, and were. What is the tag question? If we have to be verbs, we use the same to be verb. For example, we discussed about that. They are teachers. What is the tag question? They are teachers. Is it a positive sentence or a negative sentence? So they are teachers. The tag question should be, are they or aren't they? Aren't they? You know that's not very difficult. They are teachers, aren't they? Or if I say you were, for example, you were not here. What is the tag question here? You were not here. What is the tag? Were you or you were? Hmm? Were you? So in tag questions, look, these to be verbs, if you have a to be verb in a sentence, the tag should also be used with a to be verb. But here we use the which form? The contraction form. Now, if I have the next one, number 4, if we have do, look, does or did, when do we use these auxiliary verbs? So if I have like this, look, if I say he does his homework, what is the tag question for he does his homework? Now if do, does, did, if they are used, we talked about them, yes? They are used as ordinary verb and also they are used as auxiliary verb. If they are used as ordinary verb, like he does his homework, what is the tag? If they are used as ordinary verb, here, what is the tag question? Again, we use do, does, did. For the past form, we use did. For the present form, do, does. For example, he does his homework. What is the tag question? We have to say, does he or doesn't he? Doesn't he? So now this does is not this does. Yeah, that does is what? An auxiliary verb. But this does is a what? A main verb. If I say another one, look, they do, for example, the dishes. Now, what is the tag question for this one? They do the dishes. If I say they do the dishes, what is the tag question for this one? They or don't they? Don't they? They do the dishes, we have to say what? Don't they? Now, if they are used as ordinary verb. But if they are used as auxiliary verb, so when do we use them as auxiliary verb? They are used in negative sentence and also question. But here we have them in negative sentence. For example, we don't play well. What is the tag question for this sentence? We don't play well. What is the tag? We don't play well. Here we have to say what? Do we? Why? Because here, what is done here? This do is what? Auxiliary verb or helping verb? Sorry, main verb. Which one? This is used as auxiliary verb. Now, if they are used as auxiliary verb, we use. But they are also used for the verbs, especially simple present, simple past, and future, when there is not any auxiliary verb. For example, she cooked, for example, well. What is the tag question for this sentence? She cooked well. If I said she cooked well, what should I say? Didn't she? Didn't she? Now here, if we use simple past, there is not auxiliary verb. What should I use? I have to use what? Did. Or if I say you write, for example, an article, what is the tag question for this sentence? You write an article. You write an article, I have to say, what should I say? Don't. Do you or don't you? Because this is a positive sentence and this tag should be negative. So a positive sentence has a what? Tag? A negative tag. Now, they are used as ordinary verb and they are used as auxiliary verb. If they are used as ordinary verb, the tag is the same. Do, does, did as auxiliary verb. And if they are used as auxiliary verb, they are mostly used in negative sentences. Simple past negative and also simple present negative. Now, let's go to another rule. We will talk about each of them one by one. The next auxiliary verb, number 5, if we have to have verbs. Can you tell me to have verbs? What are to have verbs? To have verbs are, very nice, we have has, and had. Now, if we use them as ordinary verb, we use them as what? As auxiliary verb. If we use them as ordinary verb, here, what is the tag question for as ordinary verb? If we use them as ordinary verb, the tag question should be, the auxiliary verb should be do, does, and did. For example, I have a car. What is the tag? I have a car. What is the tag? Tag is have I or do? Who can tell me the tag question for this one? Now here, listen up. What is have? Have is an auxiliary verb, or is a main verb here? What is the tag question now here? So we have to say, I have a car. I have to say what? Do I or don't I? It's not very difficult, guys. Don't I? Why? Because have is used as what verb? As main verb. If they are used as main verb, the tag should be in the auxiliary verb should be do, does, and then did. If I say she had a baby. What is the tag question for this one? She had a baby. She had a baby yesterday. The tag question is, did she or didn't she? Why didn't she? Because this, what tense is this? She had a baby. This is a possessive sentence. Or if I say he has, look, he has a company. What is the tag question? He has a company. Yeah? He has a company. The tag question should be, why doesn't he? Yeah? He has a company. This is a positive. Now this half, and this half, they are used as what? As main verb. If they are used as main verb, the tag question should be do, does, did. I mean, as in auxiliary verb, we use this one. But if they are used as what? If they are used as auxiliary verb, especially in which tenses? Perfect tenses. So in perfect tenses, if I have them, for example, if I have present perfect, look, I have prepared. Look, I have prepared the report. Now, if I say I have prepared the report, now in this sentence, this is the main verb, and what is have here? Auxiliary verb. What is the tag question here? Now, if I say I have prepared the report, we can say have I or haven't I? Haven't I? Now, in perfect tenses, they are used as what? Auxiliary verb. If they are used as auxiliary verb, the tag should be the same. Or the next one, if I say you have, listen up, you have been sleeping, for example, for hours. You have been sleeping for hours. What is the tag question? What tense is this first? What tense is this? You have been sleeping for hours. This is that simple present tense, Saliha? Okay. Now you have been sleeping. You have to rub your eyes. Did you wash your faces, please? Okay, you have been, because you look sleepy, all of you. You have been sleeping for hours. What is the tag? The tag is have you or haven't you? Haven't you? Now, in this what tense is this? Is present perfect. This is present perfect. Continuous. If we have past perfect, what should I say? No. She had. Look, she had worked so hard. What is the tag question? She had worked so hard. We can say had she or hadn't she? Hadn't she. What tense is this? Past perfect tense. So in past perfect tense, actually, we have to. But future is different. Because in future tenses, what do we use? Well. We'll talk about that. We use well when, and that's different. Or if I have another one, the negative sentence, he hadn't been, for example, he hadn't been working on his project. What is the tag? He hadn't been working on his project. The tag question? The tag question should be had he or hadn't he? Why had he? Because this is a negative sentence. The tag should be positive. Did you understand? Okay. Now remember, as the same case, we used to have verbs have, has, had. If they are used as main verbs or ordinary verbs, the tag question should be do, does, did. But if they are used as auxiliary verb in perfect tenses, present perfect, past perfect, perfect continuous, we have to use again have, has, and had. Now the next rule. If we have the next rule, should I clean that side? No. We have for the future. For the future, I mean the auxiliary verbs. We'll talk about all of the auxiliary verbs. Which are auxiliary verbs? We have well. If we have well, we have shall. We have, what is the next one? We have would. Very nice. We have should. We have may. We have might. We also have what? Must. Can. We have what? Could. Now, if we have such auxiliary verbs, especially the first one, we have what? Will. We use will for the what? For future. If we use will, what is the tag question for will? For example, if I say he will call you, what is the tag question for this sentence? He will call you. The tag question should be will he or won't he? Won't he. Why? Because will, the negative form of will is what? Will not. Or the contraction form is what? Won't. He will call you. Won't he? Or if I say she won't, listen up, she won't come. What is the tag question? Now this won't is now, this is negative. The tag should be what? Positive. What do we say? Will she. The next one. If I have shall, what is the tag question for shall? Look, We shall play, for example, football. We shall play football. What is the tag question for we shall play football? So the shall, the negative form of shall is what? Shan't. What do I have to say? Shan't we. But if we have shan't we or shan't, the tag question should be shall. For example, we shan't stay here. What is the tag question? Shall we. Nice. The next one, if I have would, what is the tag question for would? For example, they would join us. What is the tag question? They would join us. The tag question is what? Wouldn't she or wouldn't they? We have to say wouldn't they. If I have would in a sentence, the tag question should be again would. The same case, positive, negative, negative, positive. What about should? I say you should work hard. What is the tag question? You should work hard. If I say you should work hard, the tag question should be should you or shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you? Because it's a positive sentence. The next one after should, we have may and might. The positive sentence, the tag question, the negative sentence, the tag question can be might or may. But for the positive sentence, the tag question might be different. For example, she may stay here. What is the tag question? She may stay here. If I say she may stay here, the tag question is, come on, mayn't. Do we have mayn't? No. Mightn't? What should I use? If they are used, the tag question should be would. You know, she may stay here. What should I say? Wouldn't she or would she? Wouldn't she? Because we cannot make the contraction form of what? May and might. We don't have to say mayn't and or mightn't. Or the next one, he might, listen up, he might watch, for example, a film. He might watch a film. Now what is the tag question? He might watch a film. The tag question is what? Wouldn't what? He. Just keep in mind. The next one, but if we have a positive sentence, a negative sentence, the tag question could be might. For example, if I say she may not help you, what is the tag question? She may not help you. The tag question should be may she. Same case with this one. Look, he might not. Look, he might not speak. What is the tag question? He might not speak. Huh? We can say might he. Did you understand this one? So I said if may and might, they are used in a positive sentences, the tag question should be would. But if they are used in negative forms, the tag question could be may or might. Now let's go to the must. Let me clean this side. Done? Okay. Now, what is the tag question for must? What is the tag question for must? Anybody can tell? If I say, look, we must study English. What is the tag question? We must study English. Very nice. For the must, the tag question is what? Need. You know need? What is need? Need is, how should I say? Needn't what? We. For must, the tag question is what? Need. We can say we must study English. What do we say? Needn't we? Or you must read, for example, books. What is the tag question for you must read books? Huh? Need you or needn't you? What do we say? Needn't you? Needn't you? Or let me one more. He must move abroad. What is the tag question for he must move abroad? The tag question should be needn't what? Needn't he? That is a tag question for that one. The next one, if we have can and could is easy. For example, he can swim well. What is the tag question for he can swim well? Huh? The tag question for he can swim well is what? Can he? What about could? You could, for example, play well. What is the tag question you could play well? Could you or couldn't you? Couldn't you? Why couldn't you? Because this is a positive sentence. The negative should be what? Sorry, the tag should be negative. Now, let me repeat again. We have auxiliary verbs. If we have well, won't. For shall, shan't, positive, negative. Huh? For would, wouldn't. Huh? For should, shouldn't. For may and might, wouldn't. For must, needn't. For can, can't. And for could, couldn't. Now, can I clean that side? Good. Now let's go and talk about some other rules of tag questions that we have in a tag question. There are some specific rules in tag question. The first one again, let me write number 7 here. If we have the pronoun I, you know pronoun I, yes? What is the tag question for pronoun I? Yeah? In tag question for pronoun I, we have 2 tag questions. Look. We can say, am I not? Or I can say, for example, what? Aren't I? Especially when it's used with a what? A to be verb. For example, if I say I am a teacher, what is the tag question for I am a teacher? Here I have 2 ways. I can say, am I not? Or I can say what? Aren't I? So which one is actually quite? This is kind of formal, and this is mostly used in spoken English. Aren't I is mostly used in spoken English, and am I not is quite common. But here we don't say amn't I. Remember that we cannot say what? We cannot say amn't I. Understood? But we can change the place. We am, after am we use I, after that we use what? Not. Am I not? Understood? So which one is common in spoken English? Aren't I? Actually, and which one is formal? Am I not? Or you can say I am, for example, a student. What is the tag question for I am a student? Huh? I am a student. The tag question you can say am I not, or and the next one is what? Aren't I? Aren't I? Did you understand? But for the negative one, we can say, am I? For example, I am not a student. What is the tag question? Am I? Because the negative sentence has a what tag? A positive tag. Rule number 2. Number 8, sorry. I will write here. If we have some specific pronouns, if we have indefinite pronouns in English, indefinite pronouns, actually if we have indefinite pronouns in tag question, what do we use? We use what? They. For example, if I have a sentence, do you know indefinite pronouns? What are indefinite pronouns? Indefinite pronouns like some, tell me, someone, somebody, anyone, anybody, or we can say no one, nobody. Okay, so they are, what are they? They are indefinite pronouns. If we have indefinite pronouns in a sentence, what is the tag? The pronoun actually. The pronoun is what? They. For example, if I say someone, for example, somebody calls you. What is the tag question for somebody calls you? After we say that after indefinite pronouns, which verb do we use? Singular or plural? Singular. So somebody calls you. What is the tag? We can say do they or don't they? Don't they? So for indefinite pronouns, the pronoun is they. But some of them are considered positive, some of them are negative. It depends on you. Or the next one, someone. Listen up. Someone, for example, somebody actually robbed the bank. What is the tag for this sentence? Somebody robbed the bank. So we should say the negative sentence. We can say what? Didn't they? Or the next one, if I say no one, listen up, no one stays here. What is the tag here? Why do they? Because listen up, no one, we will talk about in other role actually, some of the pronouns are considered what? Negative, like never, neither, we'll talk about that. So no one stays here. What is that? What do we say? Today. So here we only focus on pronouns. Now, so for indefinite pronouns, what is the pronoun here? The pronoun should be they. We say that we cannot use what? We cannot use noun, but here we don't use somebody. What should I use here? They. Or somebody, someone, anybody, anyone, no one, or nobody. Understood? Now, let's go and talk about another rule. Should I clean that side? Okay, good. Now, these are all about the pronouns in the sentences. If we have rule number 9, if we have the verbs or the words never, listen up, never, neither, no, okay, or we can say hardly ever, or we can say next one. Tell me some more. Yeah, what? Huh? Nothing. No. They should. Now, if we have such sentences, such words in a sentence, they are considered what? Negative. So if they are negative, the tag should be positive. For example, here, he never brings his diary. What is the tag? He never brings his diary. The tag question should be. Does he or doesn't he? Why does he? Because this never is considered what? Negative. There are some more actually. We have scarcely, we have rarely. Okay, we discussed about inversion if you remember. All of them are considered what? Negative. Or if I have another one, she rarely comes here. What is the tag question? She rarely comes here. The tag question, she rarely comes here. What do we say? Does she or doesn't she? Here, this is considered negative, and the tag should be positive. Or the next one, for example, we hardly ever see each other. What is the tag question? We hardly ever see each other. The tag question should be, do we or don't we? Why? Because it's considered what? Negative. So if we have these adverbs or these words in a sentence, they are considered what? Negative. No? Or here, if I have nothing here, this we also have nothing. Nothing. For the nothing pronoun is not they. Remember that. For nothing pronoun is what? It. Remember that. For example, if I say nothing is good, what is the tag question for nothing is good? Okay. So nothing is good is negative. What should I say? Is it? Why is it? Because nothing is negative. Or if I have another sentence, nothing was, listen up, nothing was normal. What is the tag question for nothing was normal? We have to say, was it? Why was it? Nothing was normal. The tag question should be what? Was it? Because nothing is negative. Did you understand up to this part? No. Now let's go and talk about some other specific things about the tag questions. Done? So, if I have another sentence, the tag, we'll talk about all of them. If I use there is, no? There is a book. What is the tag question for this sentence? There is a book. What is the tag for this sentence? We should say, what do we have to say? Isn't there. If we have there, we again use there, remember that. Or the next one, there wasn't, for example, anyone. What is the tag question? So we can say what? Was there. There wasn't anyone, we can say what? Was there. Or if I say there are, we can say there are many For example, there are many chairs in the class. What is the tag? There are many chairs. What should I say? Aren't there? So remember, if we have there, the tag is also there. Don't make mistake in this one. Or the next one, if I have this or that, what is the tag here? The tag should be what? It. The pronoun should be it in the tag question. For example, if I say this is a book, what is the tag here? Huh? If I say this is a book, the tag question should be what? Isn't it? If we have this instead of this, what should I use here? It. Or if I say that, look, that is a chair. What is the tag question here? That is a chair. Huh? The tag question should be sorry, what do we say? Sorry. That is a chair. That's right, actually. I thought that was in. Okay. That is a chair. Isn't it or isn't that? If we have this and that, what is the pronoun? It. If we have these and those, what is the pronoun? Anybody can tell me? If we have these and those, the pronoun is what? We have to use they. For example, these are my friends. What is the tag? These are my friends. The tag question should be, are they or aren't they? Aren't they? If I have those are, for example, those are our cars. What is the tag here? The tag question. We should say what? Are they or aren't they? Aren't they? Those are our cars. The tag question should be, are they? Here we only focus on the these and those. The pronoun should be they. Did you understand? Yes. Now here on this side we will talk about some other specific uses of the what? Tag questions. If we have an imperative sentence, you know imperative sentence. What is imperative sentence? You order somebody. If we have imperative sentence, what is the tag and how can we use the tag question? For example, if I say take a seat, what is the tag question? Take a seat. We have many ways. First, if I say take a seat, I can say, what do we say? I can say, won't you? Or the next one, I can also say, for example, I can say, open the door. Open the door. I will talk about the usages, don't worry. Can you? And the next one, I have to say, open the door. Open the door. I have to say, can't you? And the next one, if I have to say, close the door. Close the door. I can say, the next one, close the door. Close the door. Use will you. And the last one, we can say, don't open the door. I have to say, will you. Now, we have many ways to use for imperative sentence. Look, if I say take a seat, what is take a seat? Kind of order, yes? Instruct somebody. If you say take a seat, you can use won't you. That's the first one. What is won't you? Want is the contraction form of what? Well, not. Now, this is used for polite invitation. You know polite invitation? This is used for polite invitation. For example, you can say, you can say take a seat. If you want to invite somebody, what do you say? Won't you? Come with me. Huh? What is the tag question? Won't you? Or we can say join us. Huh? We say won't you? Come with us. Won't you? Start with us. Huh? Won't you? Now this is the first way, and the first one, if you use won't you or won't, it shows what invitation? Polite invitation. You are trying to invite somebody very politely. Okay. The next way, we can say open the door. We can say can you. If you use can you, this can you, it is used quite friendly. Now if you use this structure, it means you're being what? Very friendly. You can say open the door. You can say can you give me your book. Can't you? Close the door. Can you? Take the chair. Can you? Bring that chair. Can you? Now, if you use just can you, it shows that you are very very what? Friendly. The next one, if you use negative one, can't you? It is also friendly, but but there is some irritation. It means you're not very friendly. You know, irritation. So here it is also friendly, but there is some irritation. For example, open the door. Can't you? It means I feel irritated. Huh? Close the door. Can't you? Take the chair. Can't you? Bring the chair. Can't you? Open the lock or the safe. What do we say? Can't you? The next one, if I say close the door, if I use would you here, this one shows that you are, it shows a polite request. It's very polite. So here, you're trying to be very polite. We remove request. It shows that you're being what? Very polite. For example, close the door. Would you? Open the door. Would you? Come here. Would you? Clean the class. Would you? Write a sentence on the board. What do we say? Would you? Here you're being very what? We are being very polite. The next one, we can also use will you. Close the door. Will you? But this one is less polite. What is this? This is less polite. So this would you is very polite, but here will you is not very polite. If I say close the door, will you? Open the door, will you? Take the chair, will you? Clean the board, will you? It's not very polite. But for the negative imperative, we always use what? We always use will you. We don't use the rest of them. Understood? For the negative one. For example, don't open the door, will you? Don't come here. What do we say? What is the tag? Don't come here. The tag should be what? Will you? Don't go out. Come on. Don't go out. What is the tag? The tag question should be will you? Sorry, will you? Did you understand? So let me repeat again. The first one won't shows what? Polite invitation. Next one can't, quite friendly. It means very friendly. The next one can't you? Not very friendly. Close the door. If I say would you, what does it show? It shows that you are very polite, quite polite. But if I say close the door, again, will you is what? Less polite. And for the negative imperatives, we always use what? Will you. Now, on the other hand here, if we have suggestions like let's. So what is the tag question for let's? If I say let's play, what is the tag? Yeah, the tag question is what? Shall we? Let's play, shall we? Let's not play. What is the tag? Let's not study. What is the tag question here? Again, what should I use here? Shall we? Let's not study, we can say shall we. Doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. The tag is what? Shall we? Or let's go out. What is the tag question? The tag question is shall we. The tag question is what? Shall we. Now, these are all about the tag questions. If you have any questions about tag questions, you can ask me. You have any questions? We have some specific uses. Sometimes you also use a positive sentence for a positive tag. For example, you have, listen up, you have brought your car. You have brought your car. You saw, for example, him. Now, if I say you have brought your car, what is the tag? Sometimes you can also say have you. Look, or you can also say you saw him. For example, we can say what? Did you? Now, sometimes this is positive and also this is positive, positive and positive. Now, if you use a positive sentence for a positive tag, it shows that the speaker is considering the fact. The speaker, look, the speaker considers, look, considers what? The fact. If you use such sentences. For example, Or doesn't matter, negative to negative. Look, she, for example, she did not come. Didn't she? She did not come what? Didn't she? Now, here if I say she did not come, didn't she? Or positive to positive, negative to negative. In this case, negative and negative. The speaker is considering what? The fact. What is the meaning of this sentence? You have brought your car. Have you? It means I am the speaker. I say you have brought your car. It means, oh, so you brought your car. It's a fact. Huh? You have brought your phone. Have you? It means that I'm trying to consider the fact that you what? You brought your phone. You've passed the test. What should I say? Have you? It means that I consider the fact that you what? Passed the test. Or next one, you saw him. What do I have to say? Did you? You saw him, did you? It means I consider the fact that you actually what? Saw him. Or the next one, you did not come. Didn't you? You did not come. Sorry, she did not come. Didn't she? It means I consider the fact that she did not come. So sometimes when we have such sentences, don't be confused. And don't consider them wrong. They are used for special cases. Understood? This is very important, you have to keep in mind. But sometimes on the other hand here, sometimes in tag questions, we also, like this, for example, he passed the test. Look. What is the tag question for this sentence? He passed the test. Huh? He passed the test. The tag question is what? Didn't he? Sometimes we actually can also use like this. Look, we can also say, did he not? We don't use did not he. What do we say? Did he not? It's formal. Look, he passed the test. We can say didn't he, or we can say what? Did he not? It's quite formal, and it's very formal actually. Or next one, if I say she for example, she closed, for example, the door. She closed the door. What is the tag? She closed the door. The tag is what? Didn't she? Or I can also say what? Did she? Did she not? If you remember, we have negative interrogative questions. So we have formal and we have what? Informal. For example, did you pass the test? What is the negative interrogative? We can say, did you not pass the test? Or we can say, didn't you pass the test? If I say, did you not pass the test, is what? Formal. Same case here. Or the next one, he has brought his, look, he has brought his bike. What is the tag? He has brought his bike. He has brought his bike. The tag is what? Hasn't he? Or I can also say, has he not? Has he not is what? The formal one. Did you understand? So now let's recall. We studied tag question today. What is a tag question? A tag question is a short question which is used for confirmation or what? Agreement. And we talked about the rules. A positive sentence has a what tag? Negative. A negative sentence has a positive tag. If we use to be verb, we also use for the tag question we use to be verb. If we use do, does, date, we also use what? Do, does, date. If we use have, has, or had, if they are used as ordinary verb, what do we use? Do, does, date. If they are used as as auxiliary verbs, we use again have or has, had. We also talked about the modal auxiliary verbs, and we talked about the specific pronouns and the uses that we have in tag questions. Now, if there is any question, you can ask and you can share.